You're listening to or watching the QC Step Podcast, a podcast to give you the information and the skills that you need to find a job, keep that job, and become a valuable employee. My name is Corey Finneran, and welcome to the 24th episode of the QC Step Podcast. On this episode, I'm going to talk with you about seasonal jobs that open up in the spring. But before we do that, let's look at some posted springtime positions and the rest of the job leads. These weekly job leads are posted every Monday morning at qcstep.com, and there's links to the online applications for every position that's open this week. There's some Hy-Vee openings. The Milan store is looking for courtesy clerks. The Muscatine store is looking for courtesy clerks, and both Galesburg stores are looking for courtesy clerks. As far as the garden center, that's the greenhouse garden center that they open up in the parking lots at Hy-Vee's in the spring. They are hiring for 3 different stores, but you have to be 18 years old to apply. So for our seniors or students that are 18 already, the Hy-Vee on Avenue of the Cities in Moline, they're hiring for that position, as is the Rock Island store and the Muscatine store. And now if you want to apply for any of these positions with Hy-Vee, there's a link on our website, and it's under the post Job Leads March 18th, 2013. And you can just click on that and get started on the online application. There's 3 other positions that are open right now. Burlington Coat Factory in Bettendorf, they're looking for a receiving associate. And there's a link to the online application. And there's also a link to the online application for Toys R Us in Moline, and they're looking for a bike assembler. And then there's also Chipotle in Moline, and they're looking for a crew member. We also have 2 job leads to share with our graduates, and those are Honeywell. They're looking for a second shift production worker, and Cortec, and they're looking for an assembler. It's a industrial type position. And as I said, all of these job leads this week have links to the online applications. And I've mentioned this before, but just because I don't give this job lead on the podcast or on our website, I don't give a lead, doesn't mean that places aren't hiring. There's a lot of positions out there this time of year, and don't just assume because I give 8 or 10 job leads that these are the only places that are hiring. You still need to get out on your own and check with your local businesses and see who's hiring. Now, because these are online applications over the last couple of weeks, I kind of mentioned that these can be kind of difficult. And if you would like assistance with an online application, get a hold of your STEP teacher, or you can contact Gary Maiden or Carrie Stewart through our website. And there's a contact form there on the side of the page, or you can fill out the contact form that's at the bottom of this blog post for the podcast or the one for the job leads. Those get sent to me, and then I'll let them know. So just make sure that you tell me what school you go to so I know who to give it to. Some of the schools are on spring break right now, and those of you that aren't will probably have your spring breaks here in the next couple weeks. And while it doesn't really feel like spring outside right now, as I look out the window, it's snowing. So the weather doesn't tell us that it's spring, but the calendar does. And it's also spring in the business climate too, I guess. There's a lot of businesses that are hiring for their spring and summer seasonal positions. And you might assume that seasonal positions, that term, are just the retail positions that are available around the holidays, around Christmas and stuff like that. And yeah, those are seasonal positions, but so are positions that are kind of limited to spring and summer availability. And there's a lot of seasonal positions this time of year. And what I'm going to do on this episode is kind of give you an overview of the different types of spring and summer seasonal positions. And then over the next few months, what my goal is to kind of key in on some of the specific areas and go into more detail. So regardless of your age, spring and summer bring employment opportunities. If you're under 16, there are money-making and experience-building positions and opportunities for you, during the spring and summer. This winter, I talked about the snow shoveling thing, and that you could shovel snow for money, and it would give you experience and something to put on applications and stuff. And if you do that in the winter, you probably mow lawns in the summer and spring and the fall too, the rest of the year, I guess. I designed a flyer for you to pass out if you were interested in doing the snow shoveling experience and making money doing that. And I posted it on the site for you to download. And here in the next few weeks, I will design one for lawn mowing too, that you can download and pass out in your neighborhood and give to family, friends, and stuff like that. If lawn mowing isn't your thing and you're under 16, another alternative is babysitting. And babysitting, it really is a year-round thing, but this is the time of year when parents are trying to figure out what they're going to do with their children when school's out. Especially if the parents work year-round, they need to figure out what they're going to do with their kids and who's going to watch them. And if you can line up a babysitting job like that, then you have your it's a good money first of all because you're working a lot of hours, but then also you have your evenings free, and so you could babysit someone else's kids, or you could just enjoy the summer to yourself. But these types of summer jobs where you're working Monday through Friday or whatever the parents' work schedule is, you can make a good amount of money doing that type of work. If you're interested in doing something like that, then you can get a hold of Gary or Carrie or contact me through the website. And I think we could probably design a flyer or a business card or a resume that would be more individualized, and you can get kind of specific with your experiences and your strengths and stuff like that. So we'd be happy to put that together for you or help you put it together. If you're over 16, there are a lot of businesses that hire more people in the spring and summer. Like I said, I'll get into the specifics later on each individual type of business, but I just wanted to share with you what types of businesses these are. So think about the businesses that would be busier in the spring and summer, be busier than they are over the winter. So think about, and also you can think about businesses that don't exist in the winter. They only exist in the spring and summer. Since I mentioned it in the job leads of this podcast episode, I'll talk about it first, and that's that Hy-Vee has a greenhouse, or I think almost every location, every Hy-Vee location has a greenhouse, and they have these positions open right now. Now, for the greenhouse and landscaping positions, you typically need to be 18. For Hy-Vee, you do, but there's other greenhouses and landscaping opportunities, but for the most part, you need to be 18. And so these are probably, I'm kind of talking more to the seniors or the students that are 18 or will soon be 18. So in landscaping and greenhouse positions, there's the retail side of things. So like Hy-Vee, Kmart, Target, the Corn Crib, places like that, and others. And then for the business side that specialize in landscaping, there's things like businesses like Heritage Landscaping. And it's never too early to contact those businesses and find out what kind of positions they have and when they'll be hiring for them. One of our students, who's probably watching right now, he's had work lined up with Heritage Landscaping for months now. I think probably since October or November. He's had that job already lined up. So it's never too early to contact them. And if anything, if you wait very much longer, it will be too late. There's also jobs with the parks and townships in the spring and summer. Rock Island hires landscapers and mowers for their parks. And then I know that the townships and the counties and the smaller schools, they've hired students to mow parks and cemeteries and things like that. So if you're interested in these types of jobs, ask your teachers and the other staff in your school if they know who's responsible for taking care of the parks and cemeteries and things like that are in your area. And these jobs pay pretty well. It's good work, and it's also good exercise. So They are good summer jobs, and they tend to hire students, and so they know that you're going to be going back to school. If you happen to play fall sports like football or something like that, maybe they can work with you on your schedule and things like that. Another type of business that increases their business in the spring and summer would be the ice cream stores. Dairy Queen and Silvis was recently hiring, and Whitey's hires this time of year both at their retail stores, their shops, and then also the Whitey's factory. Culver's in Moline typically hires people this time of year, and then there's a lot of other small ice cream shops like Shivers and Shakes in Andalusia. There's the ice cream shop in Viola, and then there's a Tasty Freeze in Aledo, and all of those, those three really would be convenient for students at Rock Ridge or Sherrard or at Mercer County. So those are the types of businesses that are hiring and that are going to be hiring more people in the spring and summer. And I hope to set up an interview or maybe a couple of interviews with these types of businesses to talk with them about the positions and the different types of responsibilities that the positions have. So you would have an idea going into it what types of things, positions you'd be interested in applying for. However, don't wait for these interviews, though. The interviews are going to be more to just inform you and give you a better awareness of what's around you. Don't count on those interviews to be what's going to help you get that job, because, like I said, if you wait much longer, you'll probably wait too long. So it's important to talk with the businesses around you and in your community that are hiring this time of year. Well, that does it for this week's episode of the QC Step Podcast. Don't forget that the Blackhawk College Job Fair is next Wednesday. That's March 27th. And if you would like to listen back to the other podcast episodes where I talk about job fairs and career fairs and preparing for them and everything else, you can do that whenever you want. You don't need to be in class to watch or listen to any of our episodes. You can just go to qcstep.com and you can scroll through them to watch the videos, or if you just want to listen to them, you can do it there too, or you can do it through iTunes or Stitcher if you have a smartphone. I hope that this discussion on seasonal jobs was helpful to you. Don't forget that you can email me questions on employment to info@qcstep.com, or you can submit them on our Facebook page or send them to us through Twitter, and we'd be happy to answer your questions or talk about whatever topics that you would like to hear us talk about. But we'll be back next week with another episode of the QC Step Podcast.